Welcome back, guys, to today's TNG show. We're going to be talking about films.
Wait, films? What is this, Siskel and Ebert or Rotten Tomatoes?
No, Glenn, we're going to be talking about these films today, okay?
Oh, okay.
Maybe your movie deal's not there yet, but stay with us. Glenn, have you ever thought about which films to use for which type of material, whether it be like a loose powder or a liquid in a cell?
Sure, all the time. And then depending on what material I have, I'm sure most of our viewers have that same problem. You know, what's compatible for what film? What's going to give me the most signal?
Right. So Chemplex or other vendors out there will have a X-ray absorbance sheet here that you can see here.
Right. I'll show you how much transmission, right, we'll go through.
Right. And they'll help guide you to see which elements through the film. And then there's also another one that's a chemical resistance.
Okay, so it'll tell you what's compatible. So if you have a hydrocarbon or if you have a acid or base.
Right, exactly. So let that help guide you to pick which type of film that is correct for your application needs.
Of course, they still have to do trial and error, right?
Of course, there is.
Okay, and we can show them some tricks and stuff for what we do.
Exactly. But besides from the choosing which type of films, like which X-ray transmission or chemical resistance films, there are actually different forms of the films that are typically used out there. You have your just regular films in a roll.
That's kind of the poor man's version.
That's right. Then you have like a board, like what are these called? Like spectral membranes. And then you also have these things called film envelopes and also pre-cut films. So you pick whichever one that you're comfortable with using. You can even contact them and they'll give you free samples to try out.
Right. Yeah. That the poor man's version is good, but it can be staticky, right?
Right.
And then but there's a lot more. It's a lot cheaper, obviously. The spectrum membrane or the film envelopes, those are real convenient because it's easy just to set up on top of a sample. So Ton takes a sample there and sets it up as she presses it. I mean, that's so easy. It's not going to stick to her fingers. Although one time I witnessed Ton putting two films on. Actually, we didn't witness it. We found it out through the data. But that's another story. So I like these ones, the film envelopes. Ton kind of likes the spectrum membranes, but I like the film envelopes because it doesn't perforate. It just kind of pulls it away from the actual rest of the cardboard. So it comes out really nicely. There's no kind of indentation.
It's kind of like an envelope. That's why they're called film envelopes. They're very popular, and these are just the pre-cut ones that made to the size that you need. Okay, so once you've determined the choice of film that you want to use, we recommend that you test it offline first before you expose it to X-rays.
So one, like at powder sample Ton, I know I'd like to put it in a vacuum oven at say 40 degrees C. That way I'm putting in a vacuum system. Maybe there's something that's going to off gas from the sample. I'm going to test that out first in a vacuum oven at the temperature about what it's going to go on the machine. And if it's good there for 5 minutes, it's good to go for all the samples that are like that.
Exactly. Now for a liquid, what we recommend is you pour your liquid into the cup with the film already, and I like to use like a Chem wipe test. Just get your Chem wipe, place it on your bench top, and let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. If you don't see any leaks, you know you're good, and you know their liquid's not going to eat the film. You have good chemical resistance on there.
Right. And if it's the first time they're running the sample, it might be good, right, to try our secondary containment cups. Just because it'll give them that extra bit of protection.
Right, you can use like a different type of film here as well. We've shown this on another episode. So it slides right into your Super Mini, and then you just place your cup inside that secondary containment cup to help it with any leaks.
And that's a really good point, and right, a different type of film, because it just kind of covers your bases, right? That if it's something, and that they would only do maybe the first time they're going to run it?
Just to test it out. We recommend that you definitely just test it out first, and once you're good to go, then you may not even need the secondary containment cup, and just go with just your cup with the film by itself. Okay, so now there's another thing to consider after you've tested everything that we've recommended, is now your elements of interest that you want to see from your material with the type of film that you're using. So for instance, here, as you can see, for cobalt, which is a transition element, you can see that it's not being affected a lot with the type of film.
It's more energetic, right? So even a thicker, heavier film is not going to impede those X-rays.
Now our next example, as you see here, is the aluminum, where it does get affected by the type of film, the thickness that you're using.
Right, and you can see in there that Kapton is probably only about 20% left of the signal because that's a thicker, more heavier film.
Exactly. Now, the most drastic one would be fluorine.
Or
you can
carbon,
see here,
obviously,
right?
but yeah, the fluorine.
The film will be attenuating that signal quite a bit.
Right, and so you're almost getting no signal for something like Kapton, and even like something like a Proline, it's a maybe you're losing 80% of your signal.
Right.
So yeah, they definitely need to consider
Right.
all those things.
So make sure you consider the type of film and the type of element in your material that you're looking for that will best suit your needs for what you're doing. We hope you found this episode informative on the types of films. But if you need further support, please let us know. Contact us. And also, remember to like us on the LinkedIn show and also subscribe to our new YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.